So, through 18 games this season, even though the Philadelphia 76ers are in 8th place in the Eastern Conference, and even though they have only won 10 of their 18 games, I think this season for the 76ers should be considered not only the most impressive out of any team in the Eastern Conference, but they should be considered the most tested team throughout this early regular season in the entire NBA. Go ahead and take a look at the games missed by notable 76ers players. You have Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, and Danny Green all missing 7 games. And Joel Embiid has missed 9 games as well, with a bulk of that coming during the last couple of weeks, during a stretch in which Joel Embiid missed all 5 of a 5-game losing streak. And just in general, this 76ers team has not been able to have all of their guys on the court. However, with that being said, with Joel Embiid missing 50% of the games so far this season, and Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle, and Danny Green almost missing about half the season as well, the Sixers are still an over 500 winning percentage team at 10-8. They have been able to learn how to rely on guys outside of their main stars to step up and take over while their big name players get healthy. Now, admittedly, the Sixers, like I said, have just come off a really terrible mid-November stretch that saw them lose 5 straight games. In those 5 games, Philly scored about 102 points a game, allowed about 115 a game, and that last game of those 5 losses was a game in Utah where they pretty much just got destroyed by 35 points by the Jazz. However, like I said, it should be noted that Joel Embiid and Matisse Thybulle missed all 5 of those games, and Tobias Harris played in only 2 out of 5 games in that stretch. Now let's talk about why, even though this team is at such a low point right now in their season, or is at a low point right now in their season, it should be noted, they're still over 500. They're still 8th in the conference. They're still 10-8. And one of these guys, notably, who deserves to be in the all-star conversation when you're talking about guys playing in that reserve role as an all-star, is point guard Tyrese Maxey. He, throughout this season, is averaging about 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists, as the only guy on the Philadelphia roster who has played and started in every single game for the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't think anyone going into this season was considering Tyrese Maxey. I think we knew he was going to be a good player. I don't think we were considering him being a 19-5-4 guy. I mean, at this point, he should be the front runner for the Most Improved Player of the Year award. And like I said, at this point, he should be considered, at the very least, a reserve as an all-star. And in the last 2 weeks, Tyrese Maxey has been one of the best point guards in the NBA, one of the best players in the NBA. He's averaged about 25 points, 4 assists, and under a turnover a game. And if Tyrese Maxey can really keep this up and be the elite point guard that Joel Embiid has always needed alongside him to be at his full capabilities, once Joel Embiid comes back from his injury and once he's fully healthy and playing at his maximum capabilities again, this team has the perfect recipe to be elite and to be really feared by teams like the Nets and the Bucks, who are considered the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And at the end of the season, a lot of this really hinges on the fact that if Joel Embiid is fully healthy, which, knock on wood, it doesn't happen a lot, but if it does happen, if this is the year that Joel Embiid puts together, a 70-game season or 60, 70-game season in the regular season and plays every single game in the postseason and plays healthy and plays effective and plays efficient, then there's nobody on either Milwaukee's team or Brooklyn's team. I don't necessarily think Bam Adebayo in Miami could guard Joel Embiid. I don't know who really can guard Joel Embiid in the Eastern Conference if he's healthy and playing at his best. Because I don't know if Brook Lopez can do it for Milwaukee. Giannis could maybe do it, but I don't know if you really want to risk Giannis fouling out guarding Joel Embiid, because that's, whether you're Giannis, whether you're Brook Lopez, whether you're LeBron, whether you're Kevin Durant, whether you're anybody in the league, you have to foul Joel Embiid to keep him from scoring 40 points on your head. That just is how effective and how efficient he is on the block, from the post, from mid-range, from three-point land. That's just how efficient Joel Embiid plays, and that's how well he is at the game of basketball. And playing him for 40 minutes a game is a real test to your team defense, not just your personal defense, but team defense. And like I said, with Tyrese Maxey playing well, if Seth Curry continues to be an elite three-point shooter, if Danny Green comes back well, Tobias Harris, who has played well in recent weeks, Tyrese Maxey keeps it up. If everyone just keeps it up and plays above what they were expected to do at the beginning of the season, then, like I said, this team should be the number one team in the Eastern Conference. So now there is obviously an elephant in the room with the Ben Simmons situation. I think at this point there is no reason for the Sixers to try to force Ben Simmons back into the rotation. Because unless he wants to accept a role as a backup big man, which really at this point, the Philadelphia 76ers, that's the only thing they need. And I'm not talking like a big man like Andre Drummond, because I think, honestly, at the end of the season, Andre Drummond might not be on the team. Dwight Howard was like the perfect Joel Embiid backup, and Andre Drummond is nowhere near Dwight Howard. I'm sorry, but he isn't. Unless Ben Simmons wants to be the backup big and be a backup like power forward / center, there's no reason to force him back into this rotation because Tyrese Maxey is playing at an all-star level. Seth Curry is the perfect complement player to someone like Tyrese Maxey. We've seen him throughout Seth Curry's career. I mean, look at when he was playing with Luka Doncic. Look at when he was playing with Damian Lillard. Look at how he's playing right now with, Tyrese Maxey, or at least when he is playing. He is just an elite player at what he does, and that's shoot the ball well, play capable defense. He's basically like a JJ Redick kind of player. He's just going to do everything you need him to do, and that's why people love Seth Curry. At this point, trading Ben Simmons is the best option. If they could get either him to play backup power forward / center or trade him for someone to be, that backup / starting power forward center. I don't know necessarily who to look for. If they could trade him for Sabonis, that'd be incredible. But I don't think Indiana's going to do that. If they could get maybe another elite scorer or playmaker out of Ben Simmons, like CJ McCollum or De'Aaron Fox, how funny would it be if they traded Ben Simmons to Brooklyn for Kyrie Irving? I mean, the contracts match, so it could work. If they somehow could pull off a deal like that, like I said, it would seal the fate of the Philadelphia 76ers as being the best team in the Eastern Conference.